Hi guys, I'm coming back to you today with a slightly different kind of video. I want to talk to the heart of the matter. I'm not talking about math, I'm not talking about English, I'm talking about these assets that we are investing in, and I want to encourage you that you're doing a great job and to just give you some pointers as to why the job you're doing is so important. So I know that people think the most important thing you can give a child is an education. And I want to tell you today that that is not altogether true. A lot of people took pride in putting a lot of money behind the children's education, sending them to the best schools. And we had these private schools that cost an arm and a leg. And the quality of the education did speak for itself. It was great, but it doesn't come anything close to what we can offer at home. And now you look at the current COVID situation, and those private schools can't help. All they can do is offer online solutions. But this is not a time when children need just online solutions. I think the online solutions are great. They make them relevant in a technological world, but they are not enough. They need that personal touch, and no one is better suited to give them that personal touch than you are. You know how your children learn from a teacher and then become so grateful to the teacher. They become so close to the teacher. They remember their teachers years after and they say, Mrs. What taught me English in the first grade. I have been privileged to have that relationship with my children. I see the gratitude. I see the closeness that is fostered when a child begins to learn to read and they look at me and it's just like, you did this for me. I don't know what it is in a child that just gives them that sense, even at the age of 5, 6, that I can read and I've got a power unlike any other. They get a sense of that power and they get a sense of where that power came from. You become a superhero in their eyes. And I've been privileged not to have to second that, or delegate that to another human being, but to have that relationship with my children. And I understand it's not possible for everyone. But if you're busy doing it now and you're second guessing yourself and you're saying, the minute I can send my children back to school, I'm doing it. I just want to urge you to think about it carefully, to not be in too much of a hurry, or to find a way to balance it. Here is the thing with the educational system in general, the world over, is that it'll take a child and it would teach this child everything. And it comes with really good intentions because they're saying we don't know the bent of this child. We don't know the direction this child will take. Let them have a taste of everything. And then when they get older and have a sense of their own direction and destiny, then we let them specialize. And this begins to happen around about grade 9, if you know what I'm talking about. But have you noticed that when you're talking about child prodigies who are musicians, who play the piano, who play sport, tennis, football, whatever it might be, they begin to go into their academies from as early as 5, 6, right? And so what I want to say to you today is that one of the most important gifts you can give to your child is not necessarily an education, but number one, a sense of self, sense of identity, a sense of purpose, a sense of knowing the very reason that they came to this earth. I often describe myself as saying that, when the Creator was playing a puzzle in heaven, he looked down at some point and decided, there's a piece missing there. And I was the piece missing there. And he sent me to fill in a specific slot. Now, no other piece, no matter how close it looks, there is no other piece that can fill that hole that I was created to fill in. And it's the same for your children. So as a parent, you need to be, tuning in to their frequency and having a sense of what did this child come to do? What's his or her calling in life? What's her interests, and begin to shape the education that you're going to give that child from as early as possible in the direction of their specific calling and interest. With a teacher who is, not related to you, it's understandable that they have to watch this child over time and then say around about grade 9, grade 10, I think you should be heading in this direction. But you bore this child in your womb if you were the mother, or carried this child in your loins, you carried them, you're with them, you see their personality evolving, you know what they like and what they don't like, and so you can't afford to go that route. You know from very early on, what is this person's call, or you have some sense. It is said that, everybody's a genius. It's just that they're not always put in the right habitat. So if you took a fish, which is a genius at swimming, and told it to climb a tree, all of a sudden you think that this fish is thick or retarded, and that's not the case. So we've got our children in these situations where they have to perform the exact same as every other child. They have to demonstrate interest in everything like every other child, and they are specifically created to be in love with and passionate about one particular thing. If you can help your child find the thing, and I know many of us as parents are still trying to find our thing, but if you can walk with your child on that journey, that's the number one thing you can give them. The number two thing you can give them is a faith legacy. They have to have a belief system. Whatever it is you believe in, they have to have that belief, because what's going to happen is that once they set their eyes like a flint on that destiny, on that goal, on that target, determined to meet it, what's going to happen is that life is going to come at them, and you're not always going to be there. And they have to have a faith that says, Mama said, Daddy said, the good book said, or whatever it is that your faith language is, but you need to instill a sense of belief in them. Number three, you need to create in them a work ethic extraordinaire. We get tempted very often to just be like, oh, they're children, don't go too far, I want to challenge you today that you would be shocked to find out the resilience in your children. Go as far as you possibly can till they say no more. Do not take a child beyond where he or she says no more, but don't determine for them miles away from the finishing line that now is enough. And these children, they need to play and they need to be children. I promise you, the children who have been reared by the greatest in the world to become the greatest in the world were taken to the place where they reached that line and the child themselves said no more. If you would ask your child, I promise you that they would say to you, I can do more. I was talking to my son the other day, and he wrote his letters, and I saw the letters, and he's just learning to form these letters. And I said to him, really, really good effort. And he said, no, not good enough. And I looked at him, I don't know what to say to this child, because everything in my book tells me encourage the child. And he says to me, no, not good enough, because I think I could have written this, and I think I didn't add to his discussion. He's having a conversation with himself about what he thinks he can do better. I cannot interrupt that. I cannot come in and change his mindset. So what I did say to him is, I hear you, and I do see where it can be better, but I think for the stage that you're at, you've done quite well, and I'm happy that you can do better and that you are willing to push yourself to do better. So it's that sense of destiny, the sense of their call. It's a faith, a legacy, and it is, a sense of grit, hard work, a good work ethic, and determination to keep pushing past those barriers that, life is going to show up and show to them. And how do you inculcate this? You need to keep speaking the right words and speaking those words consistently. Please do not water down the words. Please do not try and make them mushy. Don't think to yourself you need to make them age appropriate. When you speak to a child about his legacy of greatness, because that's what they all are. They are great. You birthed greatness. You are greatness. Do not try and put it in ABCs. Tell the child, we are going there. You are called to be this. You are going to be great. Your generation is going to be blessed because you came. And because of that, I need you to get up, show up, and make the effort. When you feel tired, think of the fact that I was made for greatness and certain sacrifices are necessary. Usain Bolt practiced for 20 years to show a total of 4 or 5 minutes in his entire career. We need to put that work ethic in our children. We need to keep saying it. Don't say, initially when you say it, some of the words might be like, what are you saying? People have asked me, you talk to them like that? Do they understand you? But I promise you, keep saying the same words. And by the time 2 years later, it'll be like, oh, is that what you were saying? And 2 years thereafter, it makes a bit more sense. And 2 years thereafter, they can repeat it to you. But they have to hear the same words over and over again. So I just want to say you're doing great. I want to say that I'm here for you. I'm really, really committed to helping us collectively bring out the best in our children. And I would love for you to just head over to my Instagram page, 10 Osas School at Home. It's called 10_Osas. That's my surname, OSAS_school_at_home. And I am sharing my information or my tips and tricks on how I've gotten children to read from the age of 5, and how you can do that in a number of weeks. Mathematical foundations, just laying foundations for our children that we can then continue to build upon. So I will be talking about everything: social studies, science, but from a slightly different view than what is fed to our children in their schools. And I'm going to share at a later stage how I go through drills. I do drills with my children because repetition is the key to learning. And these drills will repeat the same information daily from a different angle, just to enforce and ensure understanding. And when I get to a point where I'm like, okay, I think you get this point, then I add on a bit more, and I add on a bit more, and I add on a bit more. It's our curriculum. We determine the time frame. There's no one saying you need to be done with grade 1 by whatever age. And I've had children who just say to me, I'm finishing grade 1 in the next couple of months. I'm finishing grade 2 or whatever grade it is. They set their minds to. I've had some children who do 2 grades a year. And being out of the education system has enabled me to see which child needs to take the whole year, or maybe 2, to do a grade, and which child will be frustrated if I slowed them down. You need to know each child's language and style of learning and adapt to that. No teacher has the patience to do that for your child. Not with love in any case. They might, well, probably, who's to say? But I mean, they're doing it at a price. And you're doing it just because your children are not an expense to you. They're an investment in your future. I always say, the future calls me mama, and I'm blessed. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you soon.